Greetings, I am St. Van Ayersdale, editor of theReeler.com, and you're watching ReelerTV from the 2007 Tribeca Film Festival. Today we have a word with Talia Lugacy, the producer-director of Descent, which is premiering at this year's festival. Descent is a revenge story starring Rosario Dawson as a college student whose life is turned upside down following a brutal sexual assault.
Don't be mad, baby. You brought me here, remember?
So tell us a little bit about Descent and how you got to Tribeca 2007.
Descent is a feature film that my first feature film that I directed, and I produced it with Rosario Dawson, who also stars in the film. And she and I are from New York. We were born and raised here, and we shot the film here. And you know, we're happy to be premiering it in our hometown.
How did you two settle on this story and decide that this is a story that you would want to stick to for as long as you did and devote yourselves to getting it told?
Well, we thought to ourselves, like, if we're going to go down this road of making a movie together, we wanted it to be something that, you know, really did move people, really did ask questions that, you know, we felt were important or that we were curious about in our own personal lives. And we wanted to make something that, like, didn't necessarily reflect movies that are being made today, but reflected movies that, you know, we happen to love.
What about the actual assault sequence in the film, and you know, sequences plural, I guess, how it kind of unfolded, and I guess the process of deciding, you know, what was far enough to go, and kind of determining what you were comfortable with, you and Rosario were comfortable with?
We always knew from the outset that, like, this wasn't going to be one of those situations where, you know, the violence is so extreme and that's what you're paying attention to. There's all these fast cuts and things that allow you to kind of, because to me when you're cutting fast, you're allowed to step back away from the experience as it's happening. We wanted it to be very attentive to this moment by moment, you know, she's evolving from trusting somebody to being completely horrified by somebody. And we figured to capture that, you know, pay exclusive attention to the characters and don't leave them unless you absolutely have to. So that was an important element of it. But as far as designing the graphic nature, how you go through it, you kind of just go through it with the actors, and, you know, in a process of a dialogue, you just determine what's appropriate and what's not.
The film will be released unrated by City Lights later this year, and that is something that kind of polarizes audiences who haven't even seen the film. It gets people talking about the film. Are you worried about its reputation preceding it, and that maybe kind of coloring the fact that you did do so much character work and development in that arena?
I'm worried about that. I mean, I think it's ratings have a natural stigma to them, you know, and you know, had we gone out to the ratings board, there was a lot of concern that we would get an NC-17, and, you know, I honestly think that, like, you know, the kind of nudity and violence that's going on in this film doesn't necessarily warrant that. It's just that there's, you know, it is male nudity and not female nudity, and that always tends to be something that, you know, the ratings board is a little bit less partial to, if that's the right way to say it. So we feel like releasing it unrated is the way to protect it from that kind of stigma, but, like, you're right, unrated has its own stigma, so I just, you know, I hope that people will be able to look past it, but there's no real way to know.
All right, well, thank you very much to Talia Lugacy for joining us on ReelerTV. Descent screens tonight, Thursday, May 3rd, as well as Friday at midnight in the Tribeca Film Festival, and it's going to be a terrific screening. It's locally produced film, and both Talia, her cousin and co-writer Brian, and Rosario Dawson will all be on hand to answer your questions. It should be pretty charged, and if you can make it out, you probably should. Remember, you can discuss Descent at spout.com. You can visit thereeler.com for all your comprehensive news, notes, happenings, everything from Tribeca 2007, and make sure you keep tuned in to ReelerTV. Thanks so much. I'm St. Van Ayersdale. See you later.